Wowza.
Okay, we'll do it live.
We're doing it live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Worldbuilders After Dark. I am your drunk host.
Ready?
Joining me today is Beth, Gray, and Aaron. Also, thank you to Jamie for being the geek in the band today. We have so far had a successful fundraiser, so thank you to our community. We're now nearing $668,000 thanks to everyone. So that is well past our goal, which is awesome. I'm not reading from a script right now, in case you were wondering. So this is a special just World Builders, chilling with World Builders, self-care, and what we do to survive 2020. Aaron, I guess technically you're under the umbrella of Pat, but thank you for joining us tonight.
Of course, thanks for having me. I always like, chilling out with some good people and some good drinks. This is self-care for me. So thanks for the invite.
You actually get to talk to Patrick Rothfuss? What is that like?
Actually, I don't. It's a series of messenger pigeons. We communicate. That's why there's a little bit of lag sometimes.
That makes more sense. I figured he was off in his castle. He wouldn't, have that.
It's a pneumatic tube system. We
Patrick
put the birds
who?
into the tubes.
I heard he wrote a book or something.
Jokester asked me if I'm out in the cold. Jokester, I'm out in my garage because that's where I smoke my cigars. Until I own my house, I won't smoke inside because I want to respect the other people. So yeah, I will be out here smoking my cigar, and I have some Basil Hayden to keep me warm as well. So.
Okay, we all have a couple things that are comforts and part of our self-care, which is not the same as maintaining your health. Great. why don't you start for us and kind of tell us what are your indulgences that keep you going, especially tonight?
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, okay. Well, I have several indulgences, and I help too. I like to do yoga and meditation and all that shit. But I also, you want to actually hear the way that I took up cigar smoking, because it's kind of a silly story. It's almost a John Cusack level story.
Yes.
Because I literally learned to smoke cigars because I wanted to play a practical joke on my girlfriend. I was dating a woman who had smoked a wide variety of things in her life, and I, being raised a Mormon, had not ever smoked anything, and didn't smoke anything. This was, by the way, back in the time when you could smoke in bars, and occasionally she and I would be going to this club and we go dancing and stuff, and I just wanted to have this April Fool's joke where I would just pull out a cigar and cut it and light it like I'd been doing it my whole life, and it just blow her mind because here her goody two shoes boyfriend. So I, at the time, was traveling a lot, and I literally went around the country learning from people how to smoke cigars. I went to Vegas and learned to smoke cigars from people there. I went to backwoods Kentucky, and I learned how to cut them. I learned how to light them. I learned how to tell the difference between them and stuff like that. And then April 1st came. I was at the bar with my girlfriend. She's smoking her cigarette. And I pull out my cigar and I cut it, I stick it in my mouth, and I light it. And for maybe 2 seconds, she looked surprised. And then it was like I could see it written across her forehead. Oh, Gray learned how to smoke a cigar to try and fool me. Oh, well. I was like, big deal. And in the meantime, I found out that I mean, to use colloquial term, I wanted to mindfuck her, and instead I mindfucked myself because I found out that I really like smoking cigars. And they're very dangerous. They are very, very bad for you. The number one danger of taking up cigar smoking is poverty. It's fucking expensive. But I will say that I had always thought of cigars as being like this, like Rush Limbaugh smoked cigars, and businessmen smoke cigars, and I'm gonna go to hell for saying this. I like the movie Sucker Punch, and the bad guy in Sucker Punch, to make a big deal if he's a cigar smoking bad guy, da da da. And That's what I always thought of it as. But actually, when I looked into it, it turns out that cigars are kind of like a great social leveler. It's like, yeah, Rush Limbaugh smoked cigars, but so did Che Guevara, and yeah, who else? I'm trying to think of a right-wing person or a conservative person. The Terminator smoked cigars, but so does Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Rihanna smokes cigars. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
As if she wasn't hot enough already.
Exactly.
Might I add, Gray,
Find those pictures.
that a hat and scarf do add to your villainesque appearance.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
I as I said earlier, I'm trying to hit all of the notes of masculinity here.
You do kind of look like the bad guy from the Kingsman right now, and the cigar completes it. So this is great.
But yeah, so I took up cigar smoking, and I found that cigars have been a great social place. Like, and when you're smoking a cigar with somebody, you can have like a millionaire, a plumber, a cowboy, and a data technician, all of them of different genders and different orientations and different parts of life, and they'll all just sit there and geek out about cigars together. So yeah, I found that was something there. And so during COVID, I can't get together with my friends and smoke cigars like I used to, and I miss that immensely. But the nice thing about cigars is that you have to actually pay attention to them. It's like a relationship. You have to pay attention to it for it to keep on burning. And so when I can't like smoke a cigar, the things you see in the movies of somebody smoking a cigar while they're doing something else, those are all fake.
Just lies with skin around it.
It is just lies with skin around it. Yeah. So when I'm smoking a cigar, I have to actually stop. I have to do something that is relaxing. I have to take that moment in time. I have to come out here, and it both gives me an association of I remember all the times, all the way going back to that bar with my girlfriend, that all the good times I've had with that. And it also kind of shuts out. I mean, I'm doing this, my job is really hectic right now. The people I work with are incredibly demanding. And the stress and pressure on me is immense. So it's a time I can get away from all that. And so thanks a lot for following me out here to my special place. Appreciate that. But that's I'm happy to answer questions about cigar, but the first question you have to the first question I have to ask, sorry, rented lips, is which cigar am I going to smoke? And I believe we have a poll that's going to come up. I have a Sons of Anarchy Black Crown. And see, that's one of the reasons you find if you like Sons of Anarchy, like, yeah, I can smoke a cigar like Sons of Anarchy. Ooh, yeah. And I apparently, if I smoke it, I look like Charlie Hunnam. It's great. Then I have a San Luis Rey Reserva Especial, which is a decent mid-grade. I don't know, Beth, are you going to turn up your nose at that? I know you know cigars.
I don't know them as well as you, to be perfectly honest.
All right. And then I will be honest, this is my favorite cigar, but don't worry if you don't want to do it now, because I will get more of them. This is the Liga Privada T52. And I'm embarrassed to say it is my favorite cigar, not because it's a good cigar, which it is, but because I was a Marine and I was trained back in the days when the Soviet Union was the bad guys, and they taught us how to kill T-52 tanks. So I like the idea of burning T-52s. So
can I just vote on that now? Because that sounded rad.
So I will also say that is also the most expensive cigar. Remember talking about poverty? Yeah, T-52s are a rare pleasure for me because they are definitely the most expensive.
And for tonight's fundraiser, put the money that you would have spent on a T-52 towards Heifer.
Exactly. Hey, if you put in enough money to buy a T-52, you get 2 entries in the prize draw.
Moobot has told us that 100% of the votes are T52.
100%. Wow. All the
Why don't-
proceeds go to Gray's Cigar Habit. No, but I did. I fell so deep into it that I was actually for a time going around and getting speakers fees for teaching people how to smoke cigars and hosting cigar socials and things. So I was actually for a couple of years able to write off cigars as a business expense. No more.
Dream.
In fact, I told our accountant, I said, look at how frugal I'm being. I did not say that the cigar was a business expense for tonight. So when you have a cigar, you got to do 3 steps to it. You got to wet it, you got to cut it, and you got to burn it. So take the end, and when they talk about wetting the end, it's just because the leaf on the end is kind of dry, and if you don't get it wet when you cut it, it can crack, and that's not fun. So I do that. And then the other part of cigar smoking I like is that you have like rituals, like the ritual of lighting one is a big deal. And this is the cutter, which, you know, is a dangerous thing, as if anybody who's watched Mission Impossible 2 can tell you. Another, you know, bad guys, cigar cutters. This is literally called a guillotine cutter. But I like this one, Essence of Aaron. You may appreciate the wood on there. And this is special to me because I mentioned I got off and done speaking tours and things like that. My first speaking tour in LA, right after I got done with the talk, I went out to a cigar store and bought this cutter. So this cutter reminds me of sunny, warm LA, he says as he huddles in his cold garage in Stevens Park. Yeah, it takes off finger bits. Also useful if you're a moil. So, yes. There's 2 kinds of people, some who laughed at that and some who just went, what?
I'm sorry, like the Moyle joke first, but you pulled a Mission Impossible 2 reference out,
right.
a John Woo reference from 2001, I think, Ray?
Dude, I
have
old.
Questions.
Don't you know that?
I saw that movie in high school. I'm just saying, like, I appreciate the joke. You're not old, you're cultured.
Right. Yeah, that's certainly one way of saying it.
Yes, and I mentioned I've talked a lot about cigar stuff, so I kind of like I have all of these things, you know, like people are like, well, I like cartoons. I'm like, Baby Herman, and then you know it's like, okay, there you go.
Skoy says that's what he appreciates about you, Gray. I don't know if he's referring to you that you're old. No, but yeah, I hope we all talk a little bit about our indulgences.
I think I'm done unless people have questions for me. I mean,
but I would like to kind of go through and let's hop over to Aaron, who has joined us from Pat's team. Worldbuilders and Pat's team work kind of close together. Pat's team is Eladin from Eladin Enterprises. Is it Enterprises? I have no idea. From Eladin.
It could be Eladin Unlimited. It could just be Eladin, like, awesome. I don't know. It's just Eladin to me.
From Eladin Awesome is Aaron. That's a tongue twister. Aaron, what do you got going on tonight? Are you eating? Are you drinking anything? What's going on?
Yeah. So when I was invited onto the Worldbuilders stream, multiple people reached out and said it's going to be casual. It's going to be casual. Get a drink. And you know, I'm typically a bourbon guy. I've done the Bourbon Trail twice. I'm just a real big fan of whiskeys and bourbon. So I felt conflicted because I know if I have bourbon on a stream, it might not end well. So I brought my favorite beer, Dragon's Milk. It's just my absolute happy beer. It tastes like chocolate, and it always tastes even better during the winter because it makes me warm. But also, I decided to pour some Remus bourbon, and I've got this sloshing around. So this is for after the stream, but it's just here as like a nice little comfort.
Remus is good. I like
that. Beth, I saw that you were also eating, if you don't mind. What do you got besides a Georgie, who's probably a decent comfort during quarantine?
Yeah, I have been eating so much Mexican food during this whole quarantine. Every week on our weekly lunches, the whole team gets to experience what you all did, which was me completely demolish a plate of Mexican food. I know that's the quality content that you all come for. So today was enchiladas because I went to one of my favorite local stores over the weekend and they were selling a whole tray of enchiladas. So like I had to get it. That's what was for dinner.
Look, if you came to this stream looking for organization or class, you are in the wrong place.
And I also just had friends message me. They're like, you have some enchilada on your face. like yeah, yeah. World self-care to eat an entire tray of enchiladas. Yes, or tacos. But that's been one thing that I've been doing, hanging out with the dog for sure, who's now ringing the bell like she has to go outside, even though she doesn't, because she just went like 20 minutes before the stream, so she is sit on the thrones of lies. But get back in here, come on. This is what you all come for. So the other thing that really has been, even more than alcohol, kind of saved my sanity has been powerlifting, strangely. Nice. Because I was getting back into a regular lifting routine before COVID happened, and then COVID happened, and I was like, man, I was doing great and I was doing so good. And I talked to a friend of mine and I said, you know, I'm bummed out that I can't keep lifting, and he's currently deployed. And he's like, why don't you just go to my house and raid my equipment in the basement, because like my wife isn't going to use it and I'm certainly not, because I'm over in Europe right now. So I did that, but I didn't have a rack at home. I just had like literally a bar and a bunch of weights. So it's like, well, I'm not going to be squatting, not going to be pressing. Guess I'm going to deadlift. So like that's been like all I've been doing. Like I like mark my calendar by like when it's deadlift day and when it's recovery day and when it's bath day. Now I do have access to a rack, thankfully, so I've done some other stuff too, but for the longest time, that's all it was. So it's like, well, I can't do much to fix the world, but I can pick up this heavy weight and set it down with authority, and I will feel good and accomplish that I have done something.
I remember, I think at some point you had that on the calendar. It, like, this is the day I go and worship at the Swollen Holy or whatever.
Yeah, my old lifting partner and I definitely got a little carried away. So we just started, we go to the gym and call it the Church of Iron. So it was just like, just from there, just completely overblown. Worshiping at the, you know, with the Swoley Bible at the Holy Church of Iron or whatever. It's just like overblown entirely. But yeah, I've got more too if I can think of it. Of course I can't now. And the other thing too has been actually not alcohol as much as you'd think, simply because I get sick really easy. So going to the gym regularly for me is hard because I go for 2 months and then I get sick for 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm out for 2 to 4 weeks. So it's hard to actually make any progress. And now that I'm not going to the gym or literally fucking anywhere, I am healthy enough that I don't have to take those big breaks anymore. So I can actually make like good progress on my lifting goals, which is really good. Which means that I've cut back on alcohol considerably because of that. Even before that, it was probably about on a weekend basis. But when I do, definitely drink whiskey, and I have to credit my roommate, I think is watching, that's who got me into whiskey originally. I found out that there is a local whiskey club in the town that I'm from, and I started going, and I'm like, wow, this is a really cool, thing. And at first I'm like, this is just like, it all tastes the same. But over time.
Lab Walter is your roommate?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What?
Oh.
No. They just said, I think they were just saying hi to that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, small world. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So yeah, and over time you learn how to. It's not just like the burn of the alcohol, and you can actually like taste different things in it. And for me, because my memory is strange, which happened after I got Lyme disease 11 years ago, the way that my brain accesses memories changed. And the way that I store memories is a little bit different, or I've noticed changes since then. And smell is something that connects to your memory in a very primal way, I guess, so to speak, in a very subconscious way. So I will have things that I taste in alcohol or whatever that will bring back memories that I forgot I had. because they are coded differently than they used to be, and I can't find them the way that I used to 10 plus years ago. So for me, tasting whiskey is like reconnecting a lot of those memories with that smell memory. And it's different than just like food or anything like that, because with alcohol, you kind of have to dig a little bit because there is that burn from the alcohol. So it makes it different. So that's one thing that is really enjoyable about it. Do I drink to like have a good drunk sometimes? Of course, but a lot of times, like in our house, in the house that we have a room that this is all my roommates. I just had to have a room for it. There's like 400 bottles. So like if you want an experience, like we got something for you. If you like whiskey, and if you don't, you come to the wrong house. But so there's never been a shortage from there as well. That's kind of like that's a good summary actually of kind of like how I've coped a lot with COVID and everything, and just in general. So
yeah.
Beth, did you look up how much the whiskey that Kevin Hearn was recommending costs? That
I didn't.
Rhetoric.
It is a $410 bottle of whiskey.
Well,
if you're looking, oh my God.
What is the most expensive drink of whiskey you've ever had?
Me, no, that's such a bad question for me, because I'm bad at keeping track of this stuff. Like I know like the dozen or so that I super love, and then like another couple dozen that I'm like, oh yeah, I've had that, that's good. But like, because I started drinking whiskey with my roommate, a lot of the times I'll have to be like, Eric, have I had this before? And he'd be like, yes, in the January meeting of 2017, we tried this with the 12-year expression and the 15-year expression, and you were at that meeting. And so he knows all of these things. So like when it comes to knowing how much, the whiskey that I've tried costs, I have no idea, but Eric would know. Like my favorite bottle right now retails for about 120. Which for me hits all the right notes. It's really good. It's called Blue Hanger. It's a limited release, which is why it's a little bit more expensive. But it's my favorite of all the favorites. And so I mean that's a pretty I would guess for non-whiskey drinkers that's probably considered an expensive bottle. For whiskey drinkers, probably so. Because there's certainly ones that are more than that. So like there's like the Octomore expressions are pretty common, but even those will run you closer to $200, even though they're still relatively common bottles.
Daniel in the chat says, which is more expensive, habit whiskeys or cigars?
The answer is yes, and we do both, because the room that all the whiskey sits in our house is outfitted like a Victorian study. Or at least will be once we finish all of our renovations, and we have it set up so that we can smoke in there. We just have to shut the door when we're done and run an ozone machine so it clears out the smell from the cigars. And again, it's mostly my roommates, has a huge cooler, because coolers can double as a humidor if you don't want to get something super expensive, which there's no need to if you monitor everything going on in the cooler. So we've got a cooler in there with a bunch of cigars as well. So we indulge a lot. Yes, it is ozone machine. Isn't that toxic? Yes, it is. So that's why you have to have it in a closed room. So when we're done, we will turn it on a timer. I think it's like a 15-minute wait or a 30-minute wait. And then you go out and you shut the door. And then that's it. It's in the room. By the time that any gas comes out of the room or leaks out of the room, it will dissipate. And by like a half hour after it's done running, it will also have dissipated enough that it's no longer toxic. It'll just smell like it rained, because that's what ozone smells like. So if you have a room you can close off, and it's not going to circulate heavily within your home air system, whether it's your HVAC or your air conditioning, then it's fine. We've done this for a lot of years, so.
Not that anyone gives a fuck, but I'm drinking.
We care.
Yeah.
No, how satisfying is the sound though? Oh my goodness.
This is the ASMR stuff that you all come for.
Right,
Yep.
I know. Yeah. I made a muddled, just an old fashioned with some muddled blackberries, and instead of I'm a little boozed right now, and instead of orange, there's orange bitters in there, so that's good. It's very good though. I would recommend the blackberries with old fashioned if you're a fan of cherries instead of olives. Otherwise, it might get a little weird. But yeah, a couple of us did mention things that help us kind of cope during quarantine, and that's what this chat is all about. What we're having now, as far as like a little bit of self-care, but really the things that have kind of gotten us through COVID and the quarantine and the hellhole that has been 2020. So you guys, let's
It's
chat.
not good enough to be a hellhole. It was a shithole.
It was a shithole, right? Yeah. But let's chat a bit about the things that kind of get us through. This can be anything. Like Aaron said when we invited him, this is a very low-key chat. Unlike our others, we don't have a special guest or a structure, and we're boozy.
These are my favorite streams. They're so much easier. And the scripts are so much easier to write.
Wait, there's a script? I was supposed to get something? Are there notes?
We've been informed the most expensive whiskey I have consumed was a 600 to 700 retail 50-year Cayman Bridge and a 25-year-old Bunnahabhain.
Wow.
Thank you.
Also, I want to say probably I did also sample at a tasting event a Lefroy, I think it was 32 year, and that is like hella expensive. It is fucking like delicious. Just like drinking like warm, smoky silk on a cold winter night while it snows and you're wrapped up in a fleece blanket with your favorite book and there's a fire going. And that is what it is like a wood stove where it's like all that smoky smell all around, not just like a gas one. You don't fucking smell the fire when it's a fucking gas stove. Fuck that. But yeah, that's what it's like. It's very, very good.
Yeah, that as long as the book and the blanket. Yeah, that, and I need to, go yell and get off my lawn, you kids.
We need to get Greg
apparently,
door.
yes, that's a $3,000 bottle. So that's the most expensive one. Although obviously it was a tasting event, so you paid like $50-$60 or something, and you got to try a bunch of the different Lefroys. And we usually go to that every year. Obviously this year we could not because they didn't hold it because of COVID. But it's really awesome. They bring in a rep from the distillery, and like they have a cigar roller and like a fucking taco truck.
Awesome. So watching somebody roll cigars is amazing. It is a real art.
So Aaron, tell me, what has gotten you through 2020?
I have two answers, and one of them just showed up. Can I show him off?
Please.
Chewy, come here, boy.
Okay, this is gonna be good. Chewy, it's already good.
Interesting pet name for his husband.
Yes.
Oh my.
Oh, he's wearing the donut of shame.
Yeah. We tried a variety of things. He got snipped the day the fundraiser launched, which was not a good idea. And he's been very good. He's my little angel. We picked him up on July 4th, and taking care of him, honestly, I think saved me during the pandemic. Hey, buddy, do you just want to sit here? Yeah. He's a Cavapoo, and
Of course
he's a big fan of Star Wars. The first thing we did when we picked him up was I watched Last Jedi with him, and then I worked through the rest of the Star Wars oeuvre. Every Friday, he sits down with me and my wife, and we watch Mandalorian. We make a drink. It's very, very good.
So wait, I have a dog that's named after a Star Trek person, and you have a dog that's named after us. We're mortal enemies, aren't we?
You know what? I'm of the opinion that one is not better than the other. There's enough room for everyone to play. I certainly love Star Trek.
I agree with you. I disagree with the first premise, but You can,
Aaron,
you
you
can go ahead
said-
and sit there in your wrongness. That's fine.
You said 2 things have gotten you through. What's the other thing besides that amazing dog?
Video games. I'm a big gamer. I love video games. I love RPGs. I actually design my own RPGs. So I've made sure to give myself 2 to 3 hours a week, every week during the pandemic. That's just RPG development time. So that's been really good to know that like I have my own personal projects that I get to work on amidst all of this, but also video games. Like I have a few different forums and chat threads with all of my buddies where we talk about gaming news. We get together and schedule play dates. A lot of Destiny, a lot of Dragon Age talk, a lot of BioWare talk, and that's been really good for the soul. Just being able to discuss that hobby with everybody.
Nice. That is cool.
Somebody said, a couple people actually have asked, do you have links to your RPGs? Or are they things that the public can look at or consume?
Well, let me see. I'm working on an RPG. I've been working on one for a few years called Curtain Call. And it is a high school theater RPG. So instead of a warrior, instead of a rogue and a mage, you're dealing with an actor, a singer, a dancer.
So Gray better join that eventually. If you didn't know, Aaron, Gray has a degree in it's like some theater something.
The technical name of the degree, which doesn't exist, the program doesn't exist anymore, is Interarts Technology, but it was within the dance program at UW.
Nice.
So, yeah. I have a dance degree.
I'm a musical theater major, so if you ever want to hear me sing Cole Porter, Sondheim, you know,
we have to do a dance off at some point. I mean, you would.
I've seen Coe Carnage's channel.
Stretch goal.
Interpretive dance. Oh, don't tempt me, her black wings. I have done interpretive.
Oh, jeez, the chat. I didn't see.
If you guys want to see Gray dancing, we could point you to an amazing little video that was released as a stretch goal. If Jamie, if you could put that in the chat for us.
Worldbuilders.org/blog/Jandrian of choice.
Thank you, Gray.
Might be that. Yeah.
It's been such a delight watching that GIF from Coe Carnage's channel pop up every now and then.
I saw that. I was like, I want to call up my dance teacher and say, "Hey, Professor, help me. I made it to the big time. I'm a dancing monkey. I'm an icon."
For charity though, dancing monkey for charity.
Cool. I'm like, yeah, I was a dancing monkey. I can say, you know, this dance helped raise over $656,000.
Yeah.
For that, yeah.
Gray, what has gotten you through 2020 besides your amazing assistant director?
Actually, you are 100% true. You're I will say right now that the fact that Beth said, I got the Google stuff, I got the demographics, we know how to get the statistics, I can handle that. And then you said, yeah, I got the auction, I got the prize draw, don't worry about it. Mike said, I'll handle the store, don't worry about it. It means I just get to sit back and bask in the success of things and don't have to do much work. So it's absolutely perfect. That is true. The things that have gotten me through, one of them is, well, obviously my partner, or I have my partner, Natasha here, who is up there with the, she's the one who knit the scarf.
It's lovely.
And it is lovely, and it's nice because every time I wear it, it's like I'm getting a hug from her.
Aw.
Yeah, so it's that. And honestly, I have I'm sitting out here with booze and cigars and stuff like that. I actually have a pretty, I don't want to say strict because it's not like I'm being bound to it, but I have a very regular weekly routine of like every morning I get up and I either walk the dog if it's my turn to do it, or I will do some yoga, and then I journal, and then I meditate for a little bit, and then I read for half an hour, and then it's time to prep for work. And then the morning routine is the same thing. Am I sticking to that even when I don't want to? Like I'll wake up some mornings absolutely grumpy and really irritated, but by the time I've gone through that routine, I'm ready for work, whatever happens. Like,
would it be fair to say that it's the structure alone of the routine that's gotten you through, or do you feel like you've been filling it with substance that kind of equates to comfort?
So I like to think of it as like the framework of a house. And some mornings, like I wake up and the house is beautiful, and I am just decorating it and filling the house with pictures because everything is beautiful. And I get up. I try to get up at 6:30. Sometimes my brain wakes me up earlier, but that's what it is. But then some days that structure is like the thing that I grab onto to pull myself growling and angry and not wanting to go anywhere.
Because you wake up at 6:30.
So yeah. It's a structure. It's a structure that it will support me either way. And I've also found it pisses me off that I was like, man, I'm getting really tired in the afternoons. I have to figure out a way to get through that. So 2 things. One, I stopped drinking coffee in the afternoon and started drinking cider and mushroom juice. It's one of those chaga mushroom kind of drinks things. And that gives me
reishi something?
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of thing. I don't remember what it exactly is. Natasha knows. But that keeps me going. And then I cut off screens at 10, and I make sure I'm just reading a book by like 10:30 or 11. And I really had to pay attention to my sleep schedule, because when I don't, I feel like I call it like being thin. Like you feel like you're thin and you're kind of like stretched out too much. It really irritates me that when you read up on how to get more energy and how to be able to last through the day, the answer is always get better sleep. Like, I don't want to get sleep. Sleep's a waste of time. I think I want to do. I'm supposed to figure out how to play this Mass Effect thing, and when am I going to find time with that if I'm sleeping? I mean,
Gray, let me help you.
you say that, but you don't understand. The help that you need to give me is like 4 more hours a day of time.
After the fundraiser, Gray, we will screen share. I please let me. You will be such a good Commander Shepard. Let me help you with this.
Is that a compliment? I don't know. Is that
yes?
Commander Shepard.
I don't know.
Mass Effect is also a game that I have so many friends that are like, you haven't played this? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And they're like, you gotta, it's one of the best ever. And so I feel not alone now, my suffering of
I feel good
that I haven't played this.
The other problem I have is that the last time I mastered a controller, it had red button.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of muscle memory that I don't have. When people are like, press the Y button, I'm like, which one's the Y? Oh, there it is. And that kind of thing.
Anon Gunnar says, sorry if I butchered your name. Hello, drinkers.
Hello, Anon
Hello.
Hey.
Beth, you mentioned that lifting has definitely helped with quarantine. You don't drink as much there as people might think based on the way that you act during the day. No, I'm just joking.
There were some days during the election, we'll just say that it wasn't coffee in those coffee mugs.
But I would like to, is that, do you find that that's a significant difference based on pre-quarantine for you? The way that you're coping now from before quarantine?
That is interesting. Because before quarantine, I never really focused on powerlifting specifically. And the results you get from powerlifting and the structure is much different than just lifting to be stronger without any real specific goals or programming. I guess I would say yes, it's different in the sense that there is far more structure to what I'm doing. So it's today is a deadlift day, and then tomorrow I will take an Epsom salt bath, and then the next day will be a second rest day, and then the day after that will be bench press day, and so there's this kind of marking of time. My lifting program that I follow is a 4-week cycle. I focus on the deadlift. So we'll just say that, where it's like the first week is heavy 5x5s, and then it's 5 rep max. I can't put my hand in there. 5 rep max, 3 rep max, and 1 rep max. So that's a month right there. So like that's kind of how I've been like marking the passage of time, is through that cycle. And that's different than what it was before quarantine, because I wasn't that specific with it, because I couldn't be. Because like you can't fucking make any goddamn progress when like you have to take 2 to 4 weeks off every like 6 to 8. Like it's impossible. Right. So like, there's a lot that's different, that it's almost kind of hard to compare it to yes and no. I'm hoping to continue though with it after quarantine is over and put a gym in my basement. I would super love to do that, because it is really nice to be able to make progress and not have to like stop because you get sick so goddamn often. Mm-hmm. And it's not even sick that other people are contagious with. It's just sick because my immune system's dumb. So it's like I'll be sick, but like nobody else is, because it's just me. I just can't handle a lot of the stuff of the particular type of slurry that going to that going to a gym will put you in contact with all of the moist surfaces.
What are you doing, Beth? What's going on, Beth? Why are you doing this? Why are you using those words, Beth? Those are bad words.
Apparently, Aaron really doesn't like the word slurry. I'm nice enough that I don't want to say it too aggressive. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck's up with that.
Right, our geek in the van is threatening to cut the stream. Moist with fear here.
Here's the thing, I have no problem with the word moist. That's just a word. But the word slurry just denotes something bad happened. Like something about the word is just not right. I don't like it.
I think it reminds me of a flurry. It's cheerful. It's a flurry plus a slushy. There's all good things there. So I don't know. You're
I don't think that's how that works exactly.
Reject.
Whatever. I think it is a little interesting though, Beth, to think about the juxtaposition that kind of having to keep some form of structure has now been dependent on physical health. Would you say that also then contributes to then would you say that also is contributing to your mental health? What is the goal there for you with your powerlifting? I'm just interested because we kind of share that.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would like to be able to deadlift 300 pounds. That would be pretty awesome. I'm at 225 now, which isn't bad.
So it's about the ego.
Yep.
Okay.
Really, I just want men to look at me and think, wow, she can crush my head between her thighs and I am terrified. And that is the end goal right there. That's key. It's a lot about being strong. Like for me, I've got a lot of weird structural problems, like physically, from like, we'll just say like the waist down. The way my hips are is kind of strange, which means the way that my knees are aligned is strange, which means that like the way that my feet hit the ground and the way I stand is strange. So since I started lifting, and especially since I started powerlifting, so many of those issues have corrected themselves also. I'm in far less pain. I can walk longer. Like if I'm not lifting regularly, I can't sit at my desk for more than like 4 to 6 hours without being in pain. So like there's other goals as well. So a lot of that comes with like those structural problems that I've had like my whole life basically. And like fixing that has been like pretty astounding and really, really great. And a lot of things in pain that I used to have is gone. Which is strange, and it's like you lift like 1.5 times your body weight and it makes the pain less. Kind of a weird thing.
Have you read Henry Rollins' essay Iron?
Yes, I have. That's a good one. Like years and years and years ago. But yeah, and that's an interesting one too about like lifting. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. Like at the end of the day, when you need to kind of get away from things. Like if the choice is between, this is specifically what we were discussing, like if it's between music and it's between lifting, thanks.
Excuse you.
Excuse you. if you that music gives a shit about the kind of day that you had, lifting does not. Like it is literally like the weights are there and you're either gonna pick them up or you're not. Doesn't give a shit how your day was. Music does. And sometimes it's nice to be able to do something that doesn't intersect. Like when I go down into the basement to lift, it's like I have to leave whatever happened during that day behind, because otherwise like it doesn't matter. But with music, you take that with you to whatever you're about to do.
That's why I like doing yoga to YouTube videos as opposed to a studio, because I can swear at the instructor all I want and they don't hear about it. We should make that clear. I think I can't remember who it was that asked it, but somebody was like, how do you feel about going to a gym when you're thing, but you're working out at home,
Right.
the weight equipment at home. I think we're all, Zay, I think you're the only one who has dared to go out anywhere else. And
cool. Call me out. Great. Thanks. Yeah.
You're in charge of the COVID policies here at the Worldbuilders, so I think
am.
You know your risks.
Our gym is great about wearing masks. My trainer and I wear a mask, and also he doesn't stand right at my face, so it's good. Yeah, but yes, I have also been going to a gym, not to lift the same way that I used to. Beth and I share a passion for lifting, but my lifting progress during quarantine has been poor. But again, for me, kind of like you guys, just to echo what you've been saying, it's more about the structure and to just move around. I've been having a really hard time during quarantine, as I'm sure a lot of people have, just not moving around as much as I used to, which, mentally, physically has been kind of exhaustive and gaining weight, kind of thing. But that's all right.
I think it's funny that, I enjoy subverting the dominant paradigm. And so, we have two people who identify as women who are into powerlifting and weights. And then you have two people identify as male that are into dancing and things like that. And yoga.
That's perfect. Yeah, I will tell everyone right here and now, I feel like I'm the kind of person that can pick up a lot of things pretty well and be decent at it. Dancing is not one of them. I am the world's worst dancer on the planet. It's a lot of arm movement, a lot of shoulders in there.
Oh, shit. This is what we come for.
Calling you out, can I ask if you'll share about your favorite request for Dan?
Wait, what?
Speaking of lifting weights, you should share your the request that you have made of Dan that he won't let you do.
Oh, is it that I'm not allowed to pick him up?
Okay, I hope that's what I was thinking of. There may be other ones, but.
Oh, you can pick him up.
Yeah, I try sometimes to pick him up. He doesn't like it. I don't. Also, he's in the chat, which I don't think is generally the case. So thank you for that too. Boy, I'm just not looking great here, guys. How long do we have left? What time is it?
Thanks for hosting, Zay.
Yeah, it's the last you'll see of me.
And typing Amity Jam, cut the stream.
But yeah, we've kind of gone through everyone a little bit. I hope for some of you guys, we're not stopping yet. We got a couple minutes, but Aaron has to go right at 8. We'll probably wrap up shortly after. This has not been a stream by any means, which you should take advice from. But also, let's check in on the fundraiser. How much have you guys raised?
I mean, I think that's wrong. I think it should be everybody's goals.
Oh my goodness!
Crush a man's head.
There's almost another $2,000 in there. But yeah, I agree with you, Beth. Everyone's goal should be able to crush someone's head between their thighs. Which I'd like to say, I don't think that you need to look like you could do that. I feel like people would just already believe you at this point. That
I mean, the nice part about that is that then you're at least somewhat social distancing as you are crushing their head.
That's true.
So it's more safe that way.
Wow.
I think like somebody.
Aaron is mathing that one out.
Yeah, I mean, like, is the distance of your thighs
think
from your face
somewhat,
further than your hands?
Somewhat, you know.
I need to break out the protractor. I need to get some angles in here. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome to Worldbuilders. We're measuring crushing people's heads and the length from our face.
Put that on a t-shirt, please.
I don't.
Somebody mentioned about this, about the structure of things, and that, you know, it's the importance of having structure. And I think that the thing that I get out of this whole thing is that we all picked something that grew out of our own needs of things. Like the structure grew out of what we needed, as opposed to being like somebody said, you should do this thing if you want to succeed. We're not like doing a Tim Ferriss, you know, here's what you need to do to succeed in life. And I say that with all love to Tim Ferriss. He's, you know, he's a cool guy, but
If you're watching this.
yeah. Well, if you're watching this, hey, we're a nonprofit. We do good stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's that it comes out of, you know, my morning routine came out of a lot of trying out things, like, nope. And then it was, okay, I like these things, but this isn't the right order to do them in. Like, I know that if I get up and try and meditate right away, I'll fall asleep. Or if I get up and I try and journal right away, I'll just get too tired to write. But if I get up and I move, then that gets me through to the next step, kind of thing.
Also,
and I also put things in my way. Like, you have to make it so it's harder to not do it's harder to not do the thing than it is to do the thing. So like my yoga mat is right outside of my bedroom. So I like basically trip over it and fall on the yoga mat and start doing yoga. Because that's the way it works.
This is definitely unlike a lot of our other streams. Tomorrow we'll have our regular Worldbuilders Weekly, which will feature some sober guests. It'll be a great time. That'll be
and they too
at noon. And I think we also have 11s tomorrow on top of that. For those of you that aren't aware, 11s is at 11.
Oh,
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, Aaron.
Now that you said it out loud, I get it.
It was a subtle thing we did.
Yeah. I didn't come up with the name, just so we're all aware.
I mean, neither did I. It's British. Karina, are you British? I'm guessing you're British in the chat.
Karina.
Yeah.
11 Central.
Have you heard of 11s before the Hobbit, I should say? Because the Hobbit is actually where I first learned about it.
Putting Karina on the spot here.
But I love the British thing.
11s.
Not a pressure.
11Zs is the evolution. Yeah.
The 11s? Still don't know. I'm sorry. Thank you for answering.
Fine. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. See, this is these kind of weird off the cuff kind of chats are my favorite, because I like how much we get to interact with you guys. It's pretty fun. But Gray, how was your cigar tasting? Did you get the right choice?
It really is. The Liga Privada is such a freaking rich cigar. It is wonderful, and thank you all for voting for it. You voted well. And I'm trying to figure out what to do. Like, you get these cigar tubes, they're awesome, and I'm sure there's like some kind of art thing, or maybe I could like send a secret message in it or something. I still have trying to find ways to recycle these that make sense. But.
I would send
This is a
so
family
many secret
show.
messages.
Make sure we just keep it family.
I'm gonna go to my 8 o'clock meeting.
All
Thank
right.
you for inviting me on.
Thank you, Aaron,
It's
for coming
metal.
on.
It's metal.
I'll see y'all tomorrow, I'm sure. And have a good night.
Hi, Aaron.
Good
Hey,
night,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yes. Everybody doesn't know that Aaron started, what, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. He's
What
doing.
is-
I want
I
to
like how
keep my job,
he's
so I'm gonna go.
literally about to go, and you're like asking him questions.
Yeah.
Aaron, what's your favorite color?
Okay, so
That's what we do in the Midwest, though.
I will say I looked up 11s because there was some argument about how it was spelled, and so first of all, I spelled it right, and second of all, when I looked it up, I expected it to be like, oh, it's just from The Hobbit, but no, it's actually an older British tradition. Like they use it in The Hobbit because it's a real tradition. At least that's what Wikipedia said, and they have to be right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wikipedia knows all.
welcome to Worldbuilders, where Gray feels superior now.
When it comes to spelling, I am a snob. I even put periods at the end of my text messages.
I am horrible. I read back over the messages I send you guys, and it looks like the person was having a stroke while they wrote it. It's just bad.
It's pronounced 11 Z's? Really?
Oh, yeah. So look, you wrote it right, but you've been saying it wrong. So you're wrong.
I mean, that is a common problem when you read before you learn to pronounce. So
It's actually probably 11 C's. That's probably so. We had a long discussion in our household about the pronunciation of Worcestershire. So now we settled on the pronunciation of Worcestershire.
Do you know where it came from? It was an ancient Scottish sheep farmer, and his wife put together this great thing and poured it on the steak, and he took a bite and he went, Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
Sorry. I waited this long for the dad joke, okay? I waited this long for the dad jokes. I'm pretty good.
Jeez, you've been holding that one in the whole time, haven't you?
I'm just sad that Sauce Fire isn't here to see that one.
Oh boy.
I thought Sauce was here. Sauce, make yourself known.
Front and center.
So, you guys, we're supposed to wrap up at this point. I don't have a way to get out of here.
I mean, Amity Jam is hosting us, and so if she needs to cut us off, I think we would have to respect that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we probably should anyways. We still have a work day tomorrow. I thank you guys for joining us in the chat. This has been a fun, very random stream where we've talked vaguely about self-care and
mostly about booze.
I think we talked intensely about
it's the same thing, Beth. Didn't you read the script? But yeah, you guys. So
cigarettes. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how to end this. I'm really bad at this right now, so I'm just going to say the magic words, I guess.
Moose.
Yeah, Viva la Moose. We're just slow getting slower.
There we go.